Okay, for those of you at home, I wanted to make a quick video explaining how to do the homework for today. So we are graphing inequalities. So if you are told to graph y is greater than or equal to -5/3 x minus 5, you're going to graph it just like it's a line. So this means that y can be greater than or equal to this value. So if you plugged a number in for x and got a certain number, y could be anything bigger than that number. So first just graph it like normal. So go down to -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the slope is -5/3. So normally you'd go down 5 over 3, but that makes it way far off the graph. So I'm going to go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the left 3, 1, 2, 3. And so my line is still having a negative slope. Remember, lines that go down that way have a negative slope. Then I want the y's that are greater than this. So your y's are the up and down numbers. Your x's are your sideways numbers. So if I want all the y's that are bigger than this, I want everything that's on top of this line. So you're just going to graph the line and shade above it, okay? So example number 2 is y is less than 10/3 x plus 5. So you're going to start the same way. So we're going to go up to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the slope is 10/3. Well, again, if I go up 10 over 3, I'm way above my graph. So I'm going to go, I just need it to have a positive slope. This is a positive 10/3, so it needs to go up as I go to my right. So I can go down 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, and then 1, 2, 3. So if I go down 10 and to the left 3, that still makes a positive line. Now, this is just less than, so we do something different with less than. Over here, it was greater than or equal to. Because this is just less than, I'm going to do a dotted line. A dotted line means that it can't be equal to it. It's got to be bigger than that. And then y is less than, so I shade all the y's that are less than this, so that's below it. Think above and below, okay? So there's 4 things you really need to keep track of. So if it is I'm trying to think how I want to do this. Greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, it's going to be a solid line. If it's just less than or just greater than, it's going to be a dotted line, okay? If it's pointing to the left, it means less than, so you're going to shade below it. And if it's pointing to the right, it means greater than, so you're going to shade above the line. So this is a very important piece of information. I would write this down and keep that in your notes. Above, below, solid line, dotted line. Okay, so let's do another example. Y is greater than -2x. So this is a good review on graphing lines because this doesn't have a plus number out there. So it's like 0. It's like there's a plus 0. So you go to the origin, you go to 0 on the y-axis, and you put a dot there. Well, there's also not a fraction. This is your slope, so you have to make it a fraction. You put it over 1. So my slope is -2. So from the origin, I'm going to go down 2 to the right 1. And I'm going to do a dotted line because it is just greater than. So greater than, I'm going to do above it, and it's going to be dotted. So my dotted line would look like that, and I'm going to shade above it. So that would be my answer for that one. The last example I'm going to do is x is greater than or equal to -4. Now when you just have one letter, on all the other ones we've had an x and a y. This is just an x. So you're going to graph it as if it was x equals -4. So the way that I taught you to do this way before Christmas is your x is -4 and your x is your first number. So put -4 in place of x. And then pick any random number you want. You could pick a 1 and maybe a 3. And then you plot those points. When you plot those points, you go sideways first, and then you go up and down. So when I plot the point -4, 1, I start at the origin and I go -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a +1, so I go there. -4, 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then once you have your 2 points, it reminds you like, oh yeah, it's a vertical line. It's going to be a solid line because it has a line underneath it. Now, this is the only one where you don't do above and below. If it's X, then you're going to think left or right, because the line is straight up and down. You can't shade above a straight up and down, so you can't think of it as above and below. Well, if I want the numbers that are bigger than -4, I want X's that are bigger than -4, that's the numbers over here. These are the X's. You know, remember this is the X-axis, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So these are the ones I want, so I shade on the right-hand side. Okay, so hopefully that gives you enough information to do your homework.